there's actually so much good information about this opponent that Cody and the Sports Information Office have put together that it actually you know, warrants reading some of this stuff. I've got some of this stuff memorized, but so attracting quality non-conference opponents has been a historical challenge, I think, for Auburn. With the RPI system, if your RPI isn't high enough, then you're not considered an attractive opponent. And yet Auburn has always been a tough place to play, even when the RPIs weren't great. And so there's been no real reward for good teams to come in here because it's a tough place to play, and if the teams have historically not been as competitive, it's still a very difficult place to win, and you get no credit for it. So I think when Washington actually reached out to us and wanted to know if we wanted to play, I think it had a lot to do with that factor. That being better actually helps you in the non-conference sometimes because an attractive opponent looks at you as a big prize. So us being where we're ranked right now, you know, this could be a huge opportunity for both teams. You know, last year Washington upset Kansas, and pretty early in the season, and it was a win that really was carried them throughout the season. Down the stretch, they got a few injuries and couldn't close, but it was a great turnaround at Washington in Mike Hopkins' first year. He was the Pac-12 Coach of the Year. And I told you he's one of the best young coaches in college basketball. But to just tell you how difficult it is to get quality opponents in here, this is the second time in Auburn history that there'll be a non-conference matchup between two ranked teams. It's only the 6th time ever that Auburn has hosted a ranked team in the non-conference, and it's the first since 2006 when let's see, Texas A&M and Pittsburgh were here. So again, it's a great opportunity. This team couldn't be any more unique than any team we're going to play against. They'll play 40 minutes of a Syracuse 2-3 zone. They've got 7 of their top scorers from a year ago. They've got 96% of their minutes from a year ago. This is a very, very veteran team, picked to finish in the top 2 or 3 of the Pac-12. They've got a bunch of guys with 7-foot wingspans. And so no matter how you try to duplicate in practice what that zone's going to look like, then the length that you have, you simply can't do it. And they've got an amazing player named Tybal. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes.
Number 4. Our fans should just watch him. Just like when you're watching Washington, watch number 4. He led the nation in block shots from the 3. He's got incredible instincts, incredible reach. He led the Pac-12 in steals as a guard. He's a 6'6", 6'7" guard that they put at the top of their zone. And so whether Jared Harper is trying to make shots or throw lobs or get in the lane, this kid is always going to be in his kitchen and trying to make deflections and things like that. The tie-in, and the reason why I'm spending so much time on it, is the way to beat them is fairly simple. Don't turn it over. And that's way easier said than done because they forced more turnovers than anybody else in the Pac-12 a year ago. More steals, more turnovers, more blocks. Playing 2-3 zone. Deflections, rim protection, it'll be the best zone. It'll probably be the best zone I've ever gone up against. That doesn't mean that we can't score. That doesn't mean we don't have good stuff. Doesn't mean that we don't think there's some things we can do against it. But it'll be a really, really unique challenge. So excited about the opportunity.
When you were putting together your schedule for this season, were you thinking kind of, we want to get a team like Washington or a ranked team or some program like that, and were you thinking, we have a good program this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches schedule based on what kind of team they think they're going to have or not have. I've always scheduled as difficult as I possibly can. Who can I attract? you have to build a resume to be able to put yourself in position to get in a tournament, and the way to advance in the tournament is to get good seeding, and the way to get good seeding is to win and play a tough schedule. So this Washington game is not on our schedule because we're supposed to be any better or worse. This game's on our schedule because I've always tried to get the best teams I possibly could. It's just that now that we're a little better, it actually allows us to get top 25 team in here.
It was Mike that reached out. It wasn't like this wasn't scheduled when Lorenzo was there.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, this was Mike.
Will Austin be available tomorrow?
Austin went through practice yesterday and looked pretty good. It was his first contact practice, so there's a chance that he'll be available tomorrow. Whereas on Tuesday, we knew going in he wouldn't, but that decision still has not been made.
Just a matter of seeing him, see how he moves tomorrow kind of thing, or how he deals with it
And
today?
just see how he does the next couple of days with a little bit more pounding, and see if if all of his symptoms are gone.
You probably saw a lot of 2-3 zone here at Boston College, so I guess you got a couple theories on how to attack it, which I'm sure you're not going to talk about, but.
Yeah, no, there's no question. Think back to early days of the Big East Conference. You had Rolly Massimino, John Thompson, Lou Conaseca. You had a lot of really good, really good zones. In Philadelphia alone, back east, Jimmy Lynam, John Chaney. You had some great zones back then. And so, yeah, I mean, knowing what it is and how to attack it is one thing. Dealing with, look, that guy's open. He's open. He's open. He's open right there in the middle of their zone. Now, good luck getting it to him. And then once he gets it, what's he going to do with it? Who's open?
Did Samir do it?
Can you get it without turning it over? And that's our real key. So we're going to have more turnovers tomorrow than we typically do. But if it's to the point where they turn over and run it down the other end and dunk it on us like crazy, we can't win.
I was going to ask about Samir. He played pretty good amount of minutes. Did he do okay with that?
I thought Samir did great. And I can't even begin to tell you the amount of potential disruptions we could have had on Tuesday night. First of all, Samir hasn't played a college basketball game in a year and a half. And then since he's been with me, he hasn't even played in any kind of hadn't played in any kind of an exhibition game. And so for him to have to step in that situation, having missed about 3 weeks, not knowing fully what we do, he played great catch-up. He's got really good instincts. And now all of a sudden, we're going to go up against a really complicated zone where spacing and timing is everything. And that's going to be another unique challenge for him. But he's such a smart player. Just again, he's got to be patient on knowing like he can't be at the right place at the right time very often. And that is a problem against the zone. I think the second challenge was, is obviously, right now we had 8 scholarship guys on Tuesday night. Right now we have 8 scholarship guys. It's just we get in foul trouble. It's just interesting, and so obviously I was very pleased with how we played on Tuesday, and hope we can build on it.
You have a later game. What do you expect the atmosphere to be like, and how important will that be?
Well, hopefully it's a great atmosphere. Believe it or not, as of this moment, I just stopped into the ticket office. There are still 15 chairbacks for sale. I mean, there just aren't very many chairbacks. So if I were you guys, I'd get on your cell phones and tweet that out. What great information for some wonderful, lucky. Because I think people think that chairbacks are all sold. I think the other thing to be cognizant of is because it is a Friday night game, it's a late start. And because we're playing at Georgia tomorrow in football, there's a chance that there could be some no-shows. Now, obviously, this is a prime game for our fans to be able to exercise all the options that they have to be able to turn their tickets in. Gosh, all they got to do is take a picture of it, send it to our ticket office, and we'll turn those tickets around. They could take a picture of their tickets, give it to a friend, and the friend can bring their phone with them to the game and show the tickets that they have, even if they don't even have them in their own possession. So a lot of ways to turn the tickets around. And also, I just would be surprised if day of the game, that there's not a pretty good walk-up sale, because if we do have some no-shows, we'll sell some standing room, but there could be some people that could move down into some seats. So I wouldn't quit on, this sucker's not sold out. And, you know, we need obviously we need all the help we can get, and they are worth the price of admission. They truly are.
How important is Chuma going to be against this 2-3 zone on the offensive end?
Chuma will be important to all of our guys that are passers and shooters and playmakers are going to be, you know, really important to be able to spread it out, make shots, and you know, you got to be able to mix up the inside with the outside. And we only went to the foul line 14 times against Lincoln Memorial, against South Alabama, and so that was a concern. Not enough 2-point baskets, and you can't rely on the three. I don't, by the way, live by the expression "you live and die by the three." Whoever made that doesn't have a clue about basketball. Yeah, because you can live pretty well off the 3 ball.
If Austin is available to go tomorrow, even if he's on a minutes restriction,
If he's available, he'll play, and he'll clearly come off the bench, and he won't be on a heavy minute restriction. Otherwise, he wouldn't be out there.
just how big would his return be? Obviously, I mean, it's been since March.
I think his return would be big, but not for this game. He could be a factor in there offensively against their zone, absolutely. How much would you expect from him? If I had him for a couple of weeks and we had him out there, he could be a big factor in the middle of that zone on the offensive end. But with such short time with him getting ready. But he won't be, I won't play him if he's not ready to play. And so I don't think it'll be a restricted minutes thing. He's ready, he's ready. He's not, he's not.
Good.
Thanks, guys.